Hello, my name is Aaron Cunningham, and I'm going to present on communication. So, humans have always been able to communicate, but back in the roughly 1800s, the predominant way we as humans communicated with each other was through mail and talking. Stories and letters and books would be physically transported over time to other people, sold and paid in order to spread ideas and information. And this was the predominant method of human communication for centuries, specifically in the 1800s, specifically again in the United States. A lot of people, a lot of towns rather, would have a post office where all the letters for that town would go, and you would go to the post office to pick up your post. Then sort of came the specific mail carriers, although those came a fair bit later. And before them came telegraphs. This was the first method of nearly instant communication people could have, and was a very effective strategy of communication, specifically during the Civil War, which allowed President Lincoln at the time to communicate with his generals and troops within the same day, even if they were half a country apart, which was very excellent. Next up came the telephone and then the phone, personal phone. Those were revolutionary because they could transmit ideas back and forth without the need of a translator and the operator telegraph, and could allow communication between people rapidly worldwide. These all required intense amounts of infrastructure, but did bring the world closer together. Even over great distances, people were much closer than they've ever been before. This allowed for further community building and better communication overall. The current way we talk is a rather mixed bag. There are many, many, many ways humans communicate with each other, but currently the biggest disseminator of information is the internet and technology, specifically computers. These allow for nearly instantaneous worldwide communication between as many people as can access it. There's no upward bound on the amount of information available or disseminatable at any point. This has led to a few problems, however. For example, the amount of information available, the amount of news and attempted communication that is currently employed, is so high that in order for any of it to be feasible to access, we require algorithms to sort this information for us, which leads to some problems when it runs into business ideals. For example, a website like Facebook prioritizes viewership and viewer retention because they are paid by advertisers an amount equivalent to how many ads and how long people look at their ads, which means that their algorithms are put in place to attempt to incentivize their audience to stay on their website, which leads to a lot of problems when you consider a lot of ideas can be damaging or misleading, and not many people can put up the mental defenses to prevent those ideas, even if they know they're incorrect, from influencing their decisions. This leads to a sort of isolation of ideas. The only real information or attempted communication that gets to you as a person is now filtered, which can prevent a lot of good information from getting you and potentially lead you into bad information, even if you're looking for accurate information. And the future of communication, judging by the background picture I put here, that's really spooky, is, in my opinion, very grim. The future of communication is likely an extension of current communication in the same way past communication is an extension of the even further past information. Mail into telegrams and mail into telephones was likely equivalent to how phones became the internet in terms of communication. Mostly just faster and more options, which is excellent, but can lead to a lot of problems if the current problems that either didn't exist or were muted before are now coming to the forefront, becoming exacerbated with time and further increased speed will likely exacerbate the problems as well as lead into problems that are currently unforeseen. In terms of specific technology, no one really knows what the next piece of technology is going to be that revolutionizes communication. A lot of people point to either furthering speed on the internet. The most interesting ones I've seen are theoretical models to communicate faster with colonies on other planets. And some far future ideas would be something akin to telepathic communication, literally being able to think and someone else being able to understand what you're thinking, which would be the fastest possible type of communication, but that's likely very, very far away, if possible at all. So there is a chance technology shapes in a better way than it currently is, but I am not convinced. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and goodbye.